right, buenos dias, everyone, yeah, welcome. My name is Knut, so I will do this presentation in English. My Spanish is a little bit weak, so hopefully that will be fine. But I'm super happy to be here, and I'm going to switch off my camera. I just want to say hi to everyone, and then I will just turn off my camera just so that I don't interfere with my connection. So yeah, but hello everyone, and nice to be here, and super excited to be here with all of you. So yeah, we're going to continue with just my voice. So yeah. So today's topic is Viva Engage, but before that, of course, we should say thank you to all our lovely sponsors, and without their support, of course, an event like this would not be possible to happen. And of course, please check the schedule for all the other amazing sessions that we have today on the M3645 live conference. So my name is Knut. I'm from Norway. I'm based in Norway. I have been a Microsoft MVP for 8 years in a row right now, doing a lot of Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. And of course, I work for a company called Omnia. Today my topic is Viva Engage. So it's kind of everything around Viva and what is coming and what's already there. So we have half an hour, so not too much time. So I'm gonna try to do this as quick as I can. But if you have questions, feel free to reach out also later on in social media, to get answers of your question. A little bit of information about my company. So it's called Pressure Fishbone, where I've been working, and we have an intranet product. So if you are interested in a digital workplace solution, feel free to reach out to me, and I can schedule a demo for you. But of course, the goal for the session today is all about Microsoft Yammer, Viva Engage, and what is coming also as well in the future. So that's kind of our topic of today. This is actually how Viva Engage is looking like inside of your Microsoft Teams environment, because in some ways Viva Engage is just as Viva Connection, which is just a wrapper around your Viva Connection is a wrapper around your SharePoint home site. Viva Engage is your wrapper around your Yammer environment. And previously, of course, we had a lot of discussions about Yammer. Has Yammer played out its role? Is Yammer dead? This is an article from a Swedish MVP from before, which is now actually working in, he's been working for long, and his name is Victor Villén, and he was kind of like coming out with some articles around, is Yammer dead? Which is like 7 years ago, but Yammer is still not dead because it's a strong brand, and even if it has had some struggles with kind of being incorporated in the Microsoft 365 stack, lately we have seen there's been a lot of improvements, and also a lot of issues from at least European companies was that, and probably it's the same for in other continents of the world, was that the data centers that hosted Yammer was only in the US. So if your organization didn't approve that the data will reside in the United States of America, then you could not use Yammer. And in Europe, it was a lot of issues with that. We also have a few competitors, and this is kind of the reason where Microsoft was buying Yammer back in the days. So we have like Workplace by Facebook, or Meta as it's called right now, which is kind of that communication platform that a lot of companies are choosing to use to make it easier to reach their staffs, basically, because people are used to kind of working or having connection privately in Facebook. We had an app for Microsoft Teams previously that was called Yammer Communities. So basically, Viva Engage is just a rebranding of that Yammer Communities app. But for some reasons, Yammer name is connected with Microsoft. It hasn't been very successful. So I think it's a good idea that they're trying to now put it into the Viva suite. But then again, will it help? We don't know. So that's going to be up for discussions later on. ePoint, which is of course another company out there, they did some comparison, with Teams or Yammer or SharePoint, for like when to use what kind of thing, So lot of people was like, when it should be teamwork, you should use Teams. When it's intranet or document libraries, you should use SharePoint. But if it's like organizational wide communication with announcements and sharing best practices and those kind of things, then you should use Yammer. And the same prefixes should count for Viva Engage. A good friend of mine, Dan Holm, which works as the product leader at Microsoft for the Viva Engage stories and storylines and Yammer and so on. He of course is doing a great job with when it comes to now aligning with new features and new functionality of Yammer. And this is kind of the what Microsoft puts on their website about Viva Engage. Like, so Viva Engage should provide you a way to keep up with your colleagues without having to follow each other personal social media platforms. So this is kind of like, instead of following your colleagues on Facebook, you should follow them on Viva Engage. So you kind of don't interfere personal life with like business life or company life, which I think is a good thing, because some things is personal, and you don't need or want to be colleagues with your, or like friends on Facebook with your boss, for instance, but you might want to do it in Viva Engage. So Viva Engage communities is actually just the same as Yammer communities that was before, but it's the new thing now is that we also got something called storylines. So that is kind of the key enhancement of the Viva Engage or the Yammer story right now that also Microsoft announced, which is really, really cool. So what are storylines in Viva Engage? So Viva Engage introduced that new way of working with, so that you as a person, because communities is like where you will connect with your colleagues. You might have like a wine tasting community, you might have like a knowledge sharing community, you might have a technical community, you might have a walk with the dog community. But where storylines are different is that this is where you will share your thoughts, your ideas. Like this is where you will kind of, if you are visiting the office, you can, for instance, put in a small short story about, hey, by the way, I'm at the office today, everyone. So if you're also here, let's meet for a coffee. And people then, which is following you and your stories, will get this in the feed. So it's a little bit like Instagram Reels or like YouTube Shorts or these kind of things, you know. So it's kind of like to bring that social aspect into your organization, like you're doing on Instagram and Facebook and that kind of thing. So it's like a way to connect the employees in a new different way. And of course, with hybrid work as we are having these days, I think it's crucial that we have some platform that can facilitate some functionality as the one mentioned here. The cool thing is that you can also join or you can access Viva Engage from anywhere. You can use it from the browser inside of the Teams app, or you can use Yammer and just go to yammer.com as you previously did, or you can go and into Viva Engage on your mobile phone. But Viva Engage is not a native app for Android or iOS. You have to first install the Microsoft Teams application, and from there you will be able to go into Viva Engage. So if your organization doesn't want to push out Teams to every mobile phone, for instance, or if your user don't want to download the mobile or mobile app of Teams, then you will not be able to use Viva Engage on your mobile. Instead, you could choose, of course, to use the Yammer app on the mobile phone if that is easier and better for your organization. The experience will be exactly the same. So let's talk a little bit about what is coming and what is already here. Since we only have half an hour, I'm going to only show you slides this time, but if anyone has questions about Viva and so Engage and so on, please feel to reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or Facebook for that matter. You will find me by my name. So finally, the Viva storylines or the Viva stories are actually out, because we had the storyline, but we could not publish stories with video content into Viva Engage. But just like a week ago, a little bit over a week ago, Dan Holm announced that now stories is publicly in a preview mode. So you need to go into your environment and switch them on, but you can do that. So this means that you have the YouTube Shorts for your companies. So that means that you can create rich posts that includes links, files, photos and videos. And the beauty of all this is that you can also do it from your mobile phone. So if you have Viva Engage, for instance, or the Yammer mobile app, you can create the stories directly from the mobile phone, and you can even edit it slightly on the mobile phone to kind of cut and crop the length of the video as you want before you're uploading it. So that is pretty awesome. So you can do it directly from your mobile phone. And the stories, they are landing on top of the storyline in a carousel. So that is also really, really nice. Microsoft, as always, they love to also incorporate some premium features. And even if I said I'm not going to show you anything, I will actually still jump out and show you one thing here. So let me just quickly go into my environment over here, and I will just go to Yammer, and I will just log in. Because you might want to know how you can go and actually switch on the stories from a public in the public preview. So you need to go to the gear icon on the top right corner, and then you need to go into the manage storyline, as you can see here. From here, you can, first of all, enable the storyline. So if you haven't done that already, you're not going to see the storylines here. And you can also go here and do the public preview. So this one will enable the stories in the public preview. This is always off by default, so you will not be able to create stories without putting this into enabled. Also, you have then this one general available here. That's that you can already switch it on so that it will be enabled. So one option is to have like this, and then you will have it available when it will go generally available, or you can do the public preview and this one at the same time. But you also have down here the premium features. So this one is what I will, or preview feature, this is what I will show you right now. But before that, let's just really quickly jump actually into the live demo mode here instead of showing the showing you the PowerPoints. So here I can go in and create a new one. I can go and do a recording of my screen, for instance. So here, as you see, I'm sitting in my car right now because I had a business meeting that went a little bit over time. Or you can also go and upload as well here the same thing. So video. So here you see that you have 180 seconds. Here you have 3 minutes. So actually a little bit longer time if you record it. As well. Then we can go and look at the already recorded one that I have here. So this one is one that I have done before. So you see that I can come in and like it with all the reactions. I can comment it, and I can go here and I can edit it, or I can make it a feature story. What happens if I make it a feature story is that it will be on the top of the feed of everyone in my organization, so that it will be kind of pushed out there for a number of days. When people have watched it, it will disappear from there. So that's also something that you should be aware of. And I can go click edit and make some small changes here. You might also want, but let's for now jump back to the slide deck. So I mentioned that there are some premium features in here, and that was the public, that was the preview features that was down on the bottom of that place inside of the manage your Yammer stories, you know. There are a handful of these premium features that is available right now with no additional cost. But in the name, it's called a premium features. That means that in the future, it will have an additional cost. So this is something that you need to be aware of, because if you don't think about this already right now and you start to use it, it might be very confusing for your end users if you don't want to pay for these premium features later on. I'm not 100% sure about the pricing here. Someone has told me that it should be part of the Viva suite. So if you have the Viva suite, you will get also these premium features, but I'm not too sure about that. So I would not, I cannot guarantee that it will be like that. So we need just to stay tuned and follow on to this to see what actually would be the cost of this. And here you see this is where you have those preview features and you can connect them. But some of the things that can come here is that you can have a custom cover photo. You can post on behalf of someone else. That could be great in some scenarios because maybe your CEO doesn't want to post it here themselves, but they have already created some videos and they want somebody to post them on their behalf. Conversation insights, which is always good because this means that you will be able to see like impressions, reactions, and all those kind of things from your stories, so which is always important to know if this was hitting or reaching the people you intending it to me. But this and then you have the storyline digest, which means that for instance, if I also put it as a feature story, people will also get this by email, so they will kind of be pushed out to them with a digest. So that's also something to be really aware of, that could be good, that sometimes you can push out these things to your employees. And then there are a few questions that I heard about. Some people always ask, like, where are my stories stored? And you would assume that they are stored somewhere in M365, and they are actually stored in the user's OneDrive. But you kind of also probably understand that even if you can go here with this URL that is here, like for instance, it's like tenant name and then my SharePoint.com with also the personal and the user identifier. Like user identifier is your username, and then the /Viva engage. You will find all of those. But if you go in and make changes there, you might be in for some big troubles. So be aware of that as well. So this is a guide to how you can go and take a look at where those are actually stored, if you want to do so. But rest assured that you need to be careful with doing some changes there. So yeah, so you need to be careful, because if you, for instance, delete one of the videos from here, the story will be broken. So that's something you need to be aware of. Instead, you should go into the 3 dots of your inside of the 3 dots of your story. As I showed you, it was edit there and the feature story, and you also have the delete button from there. So that's where you need to delete it. And as you can see from the feature story, you can actually go in here and then this choose for how long it should be displayed. It's up to 30 days. But when somebody has watched it, it will be removed from their story as well. So this is totally where you need to edit your stories and not do it directly from your OneDrive location. And if you go to your OneDrive, you will not see, like, for instance, if you are sharing some files in Teams, you will see that you have the Teams conversation as a folder there, but you don't have the same with Viva Engage. So this is like currently like how Microsoft done it to try to hide them, so nobody will actually break it. So that is the reason behind it. But of course, we are all curious people, so we would like to know where they are stored. What is coming as new functionality? So leaders, you can actually go in and manage from a leader perspective, so you can define leaders and their employees based on AD groups. So that can be really nice, because then of course the leaders will be able to then you can have like people following them automatically based on their AD, or you can just basically do it manually inside of here. You can add like an AD group, for instance, and this doesn't need necessarily to be for leaders. This can be like if you have somebody that you think other people in the organization should follow, then you can create them as a leader and then add the other people as audiences, so they will automatically be staying up to date about stories that is posting from this individual. But as a leader, you also get a leadership corner. So this is like a personalized hub to see content for your leaders. So for instance, you will get highlighted leaders on here. So this is a way you will push out content from the leaders, which is a really great way to kind of give some impressions from the leaders when we have like a hybrid work, and you might not be able to do it in different ways. And that's also why you can do announcements from leaders, so they can the leaders can create important messages for their um, employees, and this will be shared and reach across Outlook, Teams, Yammer, and Viva. So this is also where Viva Engage and Yammer is really nice now, is with the integration with Outlook, Teams, and pretty much sure also Office.com probably will change, so you'll also get the information posted there, you know. So that is really nice. We get like an Ask Me Anything type of events, so it's like coming in also, so that is a great way to sometimes do things in the organization, because that can be kind of like a Q&A section, so you will have that as a top corner here as well. So it is great because it is another way of having those type of live events, but it's not with a live video. It's kind of like you have a moderated discussion board instead, you know, like we had like before in SharePoint, we had the possibility to have like a discussion feed, which has been gone, and it's still not there. So this is a great alternative for that. Social campaign, so you can kind of rally people around like hashtag campaigns that will help. So you can then aggregate campaign goals, posts, and stories. So this is a new way of really being able to give that a test drive for next run. But then of course again, how will this be different than using Viva goals or using other product suites from Microsoft? So this one we need to test a little bit before we'll see how it will work. It's going to come more analytics and coaching for leaders, so you'll be able to come in and see also more details about how conversations are going and how things are going in Viva Engage or Yammer. And then on the top here, you also have an answer where is the as I mentioned, that social Q&A, so that people can ask questions and other ones can rate them and so on and so forth. So yeah. So then, of course, to round this up and give a couple of minutes for changing to the next topic, the big question is, of course, will this attract users to switch to Yammer, Viva Engage from Workplace by Meta or from other social media platform they are using? Is this enough to make Yammer be popular? Is it enough for people to start to use Yammer or incorporate Viva Engage in their organization? I think it's a little bit confusing that Microsoft has put another name for Yammer with promoting this as Viva Engage, because the first time I heard about Viva Engage was that, hey, it's another product in the Viva suite from Microsoft. But then I understood that, no, this is just a rebranding of the Yammer Communities app for Teams. So it's a little bit confusing because some people will call it Yammer, other people will call it Viva Engage, and this is a little bit confusing because it is basically just a wrapper to get your Yammer environment into Teams to make it more available for your end users. So that's it with Viva Engage. But if you look at Yammer and all the new functionality that Microsoft has put to Yammer, I think it's great. I think that every organization needs something like the stories, because like a few years ago, before the pandemic, I worked for another intranet company, and I suggested for them that we should create what was called like what was it called? It was we had like a name for it, but it was like really similar functionality to what Microsoft now have created with their stories. So I really think that every organization need that social place where people can post things and other people can choose if they want to follow it or not, and where we can have more video content, because we need more video content into our communication platforms inside of the different type of organizations. questions. So with that being said, here are some resources. I will totally share the slides later on so that you'll be able to download them. I also have a big article about this on my blog. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to come with them. If not, hopefully I will see you guys again tomorrow when I will have a couple of other sessions as well, where I will talk about, for instance, like 5 top free apps for Microsoft Teams. So thank you so much everyone for joining, and I will now just switch off my presentation and go and see if there are some questions. So is this also streaming on YouTube? Okay, that's not for me to answer, and I also don't know if it's being recorded. So yeah, but thank you everyone for joining, and stay tuned for the next presenter after myself, and see you all hopefully tomorrow at a little bit later time in the day. I will be happy to be back, and I will keep following some of the other sessions today. So thank you so much for joining, and have a great day. Bye bye.